Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome. Welcome today to our European Ombudsman Award for Good Administration 2019. This event is also being web streamed, so hello to everyone outside, in your offices, cheering your colleagues on across Europe. I'm Shada Islam. I'm a Director for Europe and Geopolitics at Friends of Europe, which is a think tank here in Brussels, and it's my privilege, my honor, and I have to say my pleasure to conduct you, guide you a little bit through this very eventful morning. I have to say I also had the privilege of moderating this event it was in 2017, and it is a very emotional event. It's a celebration. It's a celebration of Europe, but also a celebration of all of you. I have to say, of all of us working here in Europe. But Emily O'Reilly, the European Ombudsman, will explain everything to you. Just my role to tell you also that there is a hashtag EU Award. Please do tweet. We need this to be disseminated across Europe because, as I said, this is a celebration. So without further ado, my pleasure to invite Emily O'Reilly, European Ombudsman, to say a few words of welcome.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. I'm so glad to see you here. In particular, welcome to Commissioner Andriukaitis and to my two Belgian Ombudsman colleagues, Catherine de Broeker and Marc Bertrand. You're all very welcome. I'm glad the sun gods have been kind to us today. We're not all going to melt here. That was our most important concern all week, what the temperatures were going to be like. But anyway, you're most welcome to this ceremony, the aim of which is to acknowledge and to applaud the work of each and every one of you and of your colleagues in the institutions, agencies and bodies that you represent. I am immensely grateful to all of you and to your teams for taking part, and I greatly appreciate the effort you have made to do so and to be with us here today. Our very first awards event, as Shada has mentioned, was held 2 years ago, and I remember it as an event of great warmth and great excitement, not just for the winners, but for everyone in the room who gained an insight into some of the amazing and innovative work that was happening in an EU administration that has spread right across the Union. We were prompted to initiate these awards for a number of reasons. The first was the insight that I had been given as Ombudsman through my own work of the richness and variety of projects and other work that the administration is involved in. It was, in a sense, my way of saying that despite the fact that while, of course, my office necessarily deals with things when they go wrong, that I'm also very aware of how frequently things go right and the public benefits that occur when they do. I was also prompted by the negative and frequently unfair depiction of the EU administration, either by people rightly or wrongly critical of the EU, or simply by people unaware of much of the work that is done that is of benefit to so many people. And this is an attempt to help to showcase the range and the value of what you do and to counteract the caricature. The third reason was quite simply the aim of my office to promote good administration by sharing best practice. And I hope that many of you will be inspired today by the work of your colleagues that you see here. These few weeks, as every single person in this room knows, are important weeks for the future of the Union. Decisions are being made about important posts, not just Commission President, Council President, Parliament President and other top roles, but also leaders at other levels within the administration, committee chairs and a raft of other quietly influential positions. The politics are naturally complicated and few people can yet predict how the cards are going to fall. But watching and waiting as these events unfold are the people that we all serve, the citizens of the EU. And they want from the EU institutions what they want from their own member state administrations: responsiveness to their needs, accountability for their decisions, and an approach to public service that puts the individual at the front and centre of what they do and not viewed as an administrative burden to be tolerated. The EU is necessarily governed by rules which must be obeyed if we have to have administrative coherence. But from my experience, the administrators that really do live up to their public service obligations are those that factor in the actual public experience of an administrative act or decision and try to accommodate that. Yes, of course, within the rules, but always with a view to seeking the fairest outcome. Administrators sometimes hesitate to use discretion, are more comfortable operating within black and white parameters. But the real world is messier than that, and not everyone's problem fits neatly into a black and white protocol. If you think about what causes your own stress when dealing with a utility company or a bank, for example, or a public authority, very often it's not the concrete problem that you have, but rather the failure to be really heard, to be treated as a human being by another human being who really wants to assist. The projects presented here today reflect that awareness of what it is to be a true and authentic public service and public servant. They have examined a problem to be solved and identified a way of solving it, and very often using innovative, even unorthodox methods. They have looked firstly at what will work and then used the institutional tools and procedures to craft the solutions. Many have not taken anything for granted, have been prepared to look at new ways of doing things and demonstrated awareness of changing environments in all areas of EU life. Once again, I'm grateful to all of you for taking the time and the trouble to present your entries to this initiative. I am, of course, particularly grateful to the 3 people who volunteered their time and their expertise to evaluate every project and to share their reflections with me as I began the difficult job of shortlisting entries and eventually choosing the winners of each category and the overall winners. They are Peter Tyndall, President of the International Ombudsman Institute, Christopher Doxey, the Honorary Director General of the EDPS, and Joanna Mendes, Professor of Comparative Administrative Law at the University of Luxembourg. Professor Mendes cannot be with us here today, but I thank her for her work. So thank you for your attendance this morning, and I now invite Chris and Peter to give some brief reflections on today's awards. Gentlemen, thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for all your marvellous projects that we're going to hear about today. Madam Ombudsman, this Awards for Good Administration project is such a good idea. As regulators, we have to criticise what is bad and have to get it sorted, but this allows us to celebrate what we do really well. It's such a small thing to say thank you and well done. And so I'd like to thank you, Madam Ombudsman, for giving us the opportunity today to say to the people in this room, to all of you, thank you and well done. These projects are about how we in the EU institutions and bodies are not just doing our daily work, they're about how some of us are excelling in what we do. What distinguishes these projects from our daily work is they have an extra spark, which makes them excellent. They're about service to the community and ingenuity and passion. Joanna, Peter, and I evaluated each project on the basis of very specific criteria. Does this improve the quality of the EU administration? Does this increase trust in the EU? Does this improve citizen engagement in the EU? Does this improve the life of EU citizens? Does this demonstrate a culture of service? Then we compared our assessments and came up with recommendations for a shortlist. It was quite a challenge to recommend a shortlist for each category. In each category, I can tell you there were the projects that were really good, which didn't get into our shortlist. And indeed, there are some projects that didn't get into our shortlist that are a winner and are 3 shortlisted projects. So I can say to you most sincerely that there are excellent projects in each category which are not in the final shortlists, and you should be proud of yourselves for your work, even if you're not singled out today. I do so much wish our fellow EU citizens, and my fellow Brits in particular, could see these projects. They give us a taste of the enormous value added of the European project. In fact, Madam Ombudsman, I wonder if the Ombudsman could organise a big red bus to go around the United Kingdom with the winners of these projects. behalf of Joanna, Peter, and myself, I'd like to thank Gundi, the Ombudsman, who is here somewhere. Thank you, Gundi, and your team for all your support to us and all your hard work in making this day come alive. And I'd like to thank Emily O'Reilly for inviting us in this project. And I'd like to say that this project itself is a shining example of excellence in innovation and collaboration.
Colleagues, it's an enormous pleasure to be here again 2 years after the first awards ceremony. The first awards ceremony, as you'll recall, came a year after a particular vote which Chris has just alluded to, and the point really needs to be made that the value that your work provides to the citizens of Europe is often underappreciated and not fully understood. So shining a spotlight on it, as these awards do, is very important, both for you, but also for the citizens of Europe who can understand how well they're being served. Now, Chris has talked about the quality of the entries. I thought the quality of the entries was outstanding. The things you think about when you think about good administration are simply the way in which services are effectively delivered. What you don't expect is the degree of creativity that so many of these projects engendered, the degree of empathy for the people who need to use the services of the European community, and also the innovation that is being driven forward by so many of the agencies, finding new, exciting and important ways, both of tackling existing issues, but also of tackling the emerging issues which pose such a challenge for us all. Now, in a time of increasing skepticism about public life in general and public services, not just in Europe, but more widely, these awards are one of the ways in which we can start to push back. And just to say, I come from a country, Ireland, where in a recent survey, 93% of those surveyed wanted to remain within the EU. And I think that's a credit to the work that you all do. And just in conclusion, thank you obviously to Gundi and the staff of Emily's office. As Chris said, we were marvellously supported. Our work was made very easy. But I also have to thank Chris for his work in making sure that we very, very smoothly and very collectively reached a set of decisions about the projects. So good luck to you all, good luck to the winners, and as Chris said, even if you're not singled out, the quality of the projects right across the piece was outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for those lovely words, because I'm not quite sure about the big red bus. A big red bus driven by an Irish woman might not go down that well. Apart from the hair, I don't think anybody's going to mistake me for Boris Johnson. But anyway. Anyway, now it is my great pleasure to invite on stage Mr. Andriukaitis, the Commissioner for Health and Food Safety. As 2 years ago, the overall winner of the award for good administration was DG Sante for their work on rare diseases, and the Commissioner will take us through the experience of winning the award and the impact it had on the Commission. Thank you very much.
Dear Ombudsman, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's good to know, Friends of Europe, you know, it sounds, Friends of Europe, you know, because always when we are speaking about good administration, I think in many, many countries you can hear absolutely different message. Oh, those Brussels bureaucrats, technicians, never elected people, and so on, so on. Terrible. Terrible. And now we are here celebrating a award of good administration. This is absolutely in opposite of many of political actors who can tell you bad stories, including just you mentioned two guys, Boris Johnson and you know, and especially you know very well like you know excellent example about Farage. He always used some you know some dirty arguments about EU administration. Okay, good morning everybody. Once again, welcome to the beautiful Solvay Library. You know, some of the greatest minds of the last century used to gather here in Park Leopold to share ideas. In fact, Ernest Solvay built this very library to cater for scientific examination, and now you are here, and debate and creative thinking around social issues. And good administration is one of the cornerstones of social policy. So it is a fitting venue for today's ceremony, which recognizes initiatives of the European Union that have a positive impact on people's lives. But before discussing their words, I want to say a few words about the importance of the European Ombudsman, about the importance of your job, dear Emily. Thank you very much indeed. You are a brilliant champion to showing positive experience at EU level. I was born in the Soviet Union, in USSR. So I have some experience with undemocratic regimes. I spent half of my time, my life in such undemocratic things. And I feel very strongly about the need for transparency, good governance, accountability to the people, because transparency can build trust. And of course can help us democratize our societies, because we need to have European communities in every country, in every EU country. These are the building blocks for effective democracy and for an effective European Union, one that provides people with a good quality of life and one in which they can actively participate. I was very interested to see that concerns about transparency accounted for the biggest proportion of the Ombudsman's cases in 2018, one in every 4. And in DG Sante, we have also been busy working towards greater transparency and better communication. For example, earlier this month, the Council formally adopted a new regulation amending the General Food Law. The new regulation aims to increase the transparency of the European Union risk assessment in the food chain. You know very well glyphosate saga, 3 years. It was always about transparency, about conspiracy theories, about blaming, shaming, and so on. And now we decided to change the situation, and thank you. Your support was very valuable in this way. It will also strengthen the independence, objectivity, and sustainability of the European Food Safety Authority. Make no mistake, this is an important step towards transparency, and it can also help us to restore trust in science and trust in democracy. Too often complacency and lack of consistent information create a dangerous vacuum, which is then filled by fear, misinformation, fake news, and conspiracy theories. And of course, scaremongering is very popular. When you have lack of transparency in one hand, in another you see a lot of scaremongers around. And why we lost battle in UK, Friends of Europe, because we know that we have a lot of enemies against Friends of Europe. Of course, this is part of the reason why we have a crisis of confidence in Europe, and including, for example, a good example about vaccination. It's also the same issue. We are taking several steps to resolve this crisis. As a core of this effort, we are working closely with health professionals, member states, industry, and civil society groups to fill that vacuum with accurate, consistent, and clear information about the safety and effectiveness of vaccination, for example, because now we are doing a lot to changing the situation in public perception. The Ombudsman holds the European institutions to account and at the same time gives an important voice to the public. In doing so, this office helps to build more inclusive societies and at the same time promotes open governance. But if highlighting areas of maladministration is important, then so too is celebrating its opposite, good administration. That is why we are here today. I was delighted to read about the wide range of nominations for this year's award. These projects deliver concrete benefits to people in so many different ways, including reducing corruption, protecting the environment, promoting cybersecurity, and fighting sexual harassment. These nominations are important evidence for the European Union's added value. I was especially pleased to see so many projects that involve collaboration between different DGs, institutions, agencies, and even civil society, because this is the secret of effective administration. 2 years ago, DG Sante was honored to receive the very first Ombudsman Award for good administration for the European reference networks. Let me take a few moments to update you on what has happened since then. In March 2017, around the time of the award, we launched 24 European reference networks in rare and low prevalence complex conditions. Stephen Hawking once said that the internet now connects us all like neurons in a giant brain. I feel the same way about the European reference network. This innovative cross-border system connects medical experts across Europe and allows them to operate as one giant brain, sharing experience, knowledge, and best practice. And this is really a big achievement. Now we are treating hundreds of people using such brilliant network. Since their launch, hundreds of people have benefited from the best expertise at EU level without having to leave their countries. And it's very important. Today, medical specialists across Europe are discussing the best surgical techniques for rare and heart tumors or a malignant sarcoma. Intense consultations is benefiting patients with various forms of brain cancer. Knowledge about anemia is being shared between doctors. All of this is building medical capacity and providing answers to patients. And this initiative is constantly growing and developing. New evidence of in genomics, new diagnostic techniques, and the use of better patient pathways will also increase the number of patients diagnosed and therefore widen the search for possible treatment. I am proud to say that thousands of patients will benefit. And such award was a real example. It was a real good sign. Right now, the European Reference Network Board of Member States is updating its statement on industry so that a clearer framework is available for public-private cooperation for European reference networks. It can create better ecosystem in building more, mission-driving initiatives in this area. And once again, it's about people, and once again, it's about good administration. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ombudsman Award was an important endorsement of the European Reference Network. It recognized that DG Sante was having a visible and direct impact on the lives of people in Europe. I can assure you that the award meant a lot to us. It also brought the European Reference Network to a wider audience. So in its own way, the Ombudsman Award is also part of the same system of good administration that it celebrates. We will be sorry to hand the award back, but based on the list of nominations, I'm sure that it will go to a worthy winner. In fact, there are 2 DG Sante initiatives among the nominees, so maybe we will get to hold on to it for another couple of years. Nobody knows. Either way, congratulations to the new winner, and congratulations also to all the nominees. Each of you is having an important impact on the public. And collectively, you are contributing to a more transparent, more accountable, more responsible, and more open, and more inclusive European Union and European community. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much indeed, Commissioner. So often I'm asked why I take on the task of talking and walking here and presenting this ceremony to you. And it's not just because of my friendship and my admiration for Emily and Gundi and the team, but it's also because I work on political issues, but reading and looking at all the stuff that all of you are doing brings me insights and knowledge and information about what's happening behind the scenes, behind the political discussions that we're so engaged in at the moment. And I have to say, looking at these, reading about your awards, reading about the projects you've submitted, I was very moved. And it has been an emotional experience, but also for me so informative and so educational. So my joy and really my privilege to walk you and talk you through these different projects. So there were 54 entries this year, and we've divided them into 5 categories. There's a winner for each category. And all the projects that I'm going to guide you through this morning are being presented in the order they were received. And the overall winner, you'll have to be patient, will come at the end. So let's kick off this ceremony, this process. We heard a lot of words this morning, very important words about passion, emotion, service, trust, working across borders, and really engaging with citizens. So let's see through the different projects that have been submitted how that's actually working out in practice. So the first category is, of course, excellence through collaboration. And the project number 3 is about raising awareness about the social economy in regions and cities. This was presented by the European Commission, led by DG Internal Market, Industry, Entrepreneurship and SMEs, DG Grow, and 7 other DGs. So really the spirit of teamwork. This was a pilot project to raise awareness about the social economy, events in 32 regions and cities on issues like social innovation and digitalization, so really important topics for today in engaging with the 21st century. And this will be transformed into a dedicated project on inter-regional collaboration. So let's have a look at who brought this forward. This is the team, very varied, very diverse. And so who's here from this team, actually? Thank you. So 1 person from this team at the moment. Normally, there are about 2 people each from every project. So thank you very much for that. Let's move on. Project number 6, involving cities in policy making, European Commission, DG Regional and Urban Policy, so DG Regio. So this project recognized the importance of city authorities as the level of government closest to the public, and so help shaping policy really at the grassroots. This was a thematic partnership with the 17 Commission DGs, 22 member states, and 107 city authorities and urban stakeholders working together. So really a massive network of people working together. Here's the team that put forward the project. Who's here from this project? 2 people there at the back. So our third project, European Coordinators, Multi-Level Governance in Practice. This was DG Mobility and Transport, DG Move. So high-level coordinators group on getting public acceptance for transport corridors under the 10T EU infrastructure project. Very important at the moment when we're talking about the Chinese Belt and Road, that we also remember that we have our own connectivity project as well. And this was a good cooperation on a common goal between DG Move, DG Regio, and the European Investment Bank, and the Innovation and Networks Executive Agency. So also working across silos, across departments and DGs. Here's the team that put this forward. Who's here from this team? Thank you. Great to see you. So the plight of bees, European Food Safety Authority, the EFSA. So the EU bee partnership brings academics, scientists, beekeepers, industry representatives, and non-governmental organizations together to create a European bee data hub. Now, we all know about the crisis affecting the bees. And if they don't work, nothing works in agriculture anyway. So EFSA's Brussels office led the project. And as I said, it helps to save bees and raise awareness about declining bee populations. Let's see who presented this project. There we are. So they're in the garden working directly, I guess, with the bees. So who's here from this team? Oh, there you are, yes. So, EU country roadmaps for engagement with civil society. So this is DG DEFCO. And under DEFCO's guidance, EU delegations are developing roadmaps for engaging with civil society over a 3-year period. And 107 country roadmaps have been developed in 5 years. Now, I've actually moderated a few of the debates where the DG DEFCO engages with civil society, so I know some of the members of this team. Who's here? Let's move on. European Network for Marine Observation and Data. This is DG Mare and the Executive Agency for Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises. So this project monitors the sea, processes data, and makes the information available. It's data sharing on geology, seabed habitats, chemistry, biology, physics, bathymetry, yes, and human activities. And it's about saving 1 billion euros a year. Who's here from this project? Really working across departments, across DGs. Very, very good. Who's here from this project? Didn't make it today? Maybe watching on their computers in their offices. So, fighting food waste together across Europe. So this is DG Sante, so Commissioner. This is about creating a EU platform on food losses and food waste and brings together public and private bodies to tackle this enormous problem of food waste. And once again, it's about sharing best practice, sharing knowledge, and finding practical solutions. Let's have a look at the team. There you go. Who's here from this team? There you are. So this is about promoting young cybersecurity talent across Europe, EU Agency for Network and Information Security, and they organize an annual European Cybersecurity Challenge, complementing member state efforts to find talented young cyber experts. So of course, this is about bringing together young talent from national competitions that are held across Europe on cybersecurity. So 21st century challenge if there was one. Here's the team. Already very joyful there. Anyone here from this project? There you are. So this is product, once again, digitalized world, product safety, DG Justice and Consumers, DG Just. Organized in 2018 the International Product Safety Week, and that brought together over 400 participants from 50 countries, over 50 countries. And it saw the launch of joint projects with third country regulators. So this is information exchange that's so important. Europe's soft power, right? And included new online platforms and influencers. So let's see who the members of this team are. Anyone here from this project? So, supporting SMEs, a long-term vision. This is European Commission DG GROW and the Executive Agency for SMEs. This is the post-2020 strategy for the Enterprise Europe Network, a business support network for SMEs. So we know that SMEs are the backbone of Europe's economy. The strategy aimed at creating jobs and boosting innovation and was a result of excellent cooperation across the Commission and with ESME. Here's the team. Nice picture. Who's here from this team? Couldn't make it? Oh, you are here. Wonderful. Proactively protecting European investors. So this is European Securities and Markets Authority. And working together with national authorities, so once again, across member states, ESMA identified binary option financial products as posing significant risks for investors. And they prohibited the sale of binary options and publicized the move with a press release, fact sheets, social media campaign, and videos. So something also engaging with citizens and, if you like, preventing them from falling into a trap. Here are the three people. Anyone here? Great to see you. The EU Judicial Network. This reinforced cooperation between national and European judges through a collaborative platform allowing the sharing of jurisprudence, analysis, and research. They also use the platform to make available the necessary information to national judges so they can decide if they need to refer the case to the Court of Justice of the European Union. So very important work there as well. Here's the team. Anyone here from this project? Promoting cross-border cooperation, DG Regio. So working with several other DGs in the Commission, DG Regio promoted cross-border cooperation in a variety of policy areas. A dedicated team with border focal point worked to ensure an EU action plan for border regions is carried out, including through studies and workshops, overcoming obstacles. There you are, boosting growth and cohesion in EU border regions, very, very important areas. Who's here from this team? Right, Emily. So I think you will now present the shortlist and then the category winner.
Thank you very much, Shada, and thank you all once again for those entries. And as Chris and Peter commented on, the standard was incredibly high, and it has been very difficult to sweat down the shortlist, but we had to do it, so here goes. So the first project, and again, all of these are being announced in the order in which we received them. So the first project in the shortlist and commended for demonstrating the high added value of EU coordination is raising awareness about the plight of bees from EFSA. And the second shortlisted project, commended for its remarkable positive impact on developing countries, is the EU Roadmap for Engagement of Civil Society from DG DevCo. And the final shortlisted project, commended for developing collegiality and trust between the EU and national jurisdictions, and it is the EU Judicial Network from the Court of Justice of the European Union. Well done. And the winner, once again, exceptionally hard to choose from a very strong shortlist, but further work to promote cooperation among academics, scientists, beekeepers, that's a clue, industry and NGOs to gather data at European level on declining bee populations. The award goes to the European Food Safety Authority for raising awareness about the plight of bees.
Welcome, welcome, please. Please stand in front of the banner so we get this as well. It's very important to get the right picture. Yes. The photographer is there. Okay, so can I get the microphone? Thank you very much. So you're not rushing off just yet. I have the pleasure of asking you a couple of questions. So first of all, very, very simply, how do you feel?
Well, it's a great honor. It's a thrill to have your work recognized, especially among such amazing entrants that are here today. So thank you, panel. Thank you, Madam Ombudsman, and thank you to the Ombudsman team on behalf of EFSA. And yeah.
So how, yeah, your opinion, go ahead.
I wanted to say that the picture was representing two people.
The two of you?
But there's a big team behind, and we didn't have time to gather everybody to take the photo, but of course there are dozens of people behind. And yeah, if I can say also that I want to dedicate a special word for my dad, who passed away last week.
Sorry.
He was a beekeeper, and he transmitted me the passion of bees. And he was a honest person, and he was supporting also the values of Ombudsman. So, yeah.
Very good. I just... One quick follow-up question, really appreciated by everyone. One quick follow-up question. Do you think the plight of bees is now there's more public awareness about it now? Do you think people are becoming more aware, more conscious of what's happening?
Yeah, for sure. And I think what is interesting also to see is that it's not only beekeepers, for sure, who are working with the bees, but citizens are becoming more aware about what's going on. There's also more support on the research sites for academics to do research.
Right.
And also we have support from all EC, DGs, European Parliament as well, with the new mandate that we received last year to develop further the methodology. So we need good research, we need citizens behind, but we also need everybody on the scene.
And I think we have to pay tribute really to the stakeholders who we met here in Bibliothèque Solvay 2 years ago to come together to commit to trying to get this EU platform for bee data on track. So to the European professional beekeepers, producers, academics, working with our scientists, Toby Robinson and Simon Moore. And in particular, it's great to see that the NGOs are happy to sit together with industry to strive towards this common goal of finding a platform for harmonized bee data across the EU.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. Please, another. Oh. Great. So ongoing, and as we talked about earlier, passion and empathy. Let's move on to the second category. And this is about excellence in citizen-focused services delivery. There are 11 projects in this category. Let's start. So, bringing the EU closer to citizens, General Secretariat of the Council and European Council. So this is a small outreach unit, and it organizes the hundreds of visitor groups, you see them all over this area especially, I have to say, each year to the Council and European Council, trying to give, and I think succeeding, a friendly face, a human face to EU institutions. This is an emphasis on storytelling, so very important, the narrative we use, and it helps to explain the ins and outs of the EU in an accessible way. Let's see the team. There we are. Anyone here from this team? Here we go, jargon-free communication about science. European Commission, DG Joint Research Centre. So the Clear Writer Network aims to make scientific text understandable for non-specialists, that's me and others like me. And its leaflets are edited by the network, explains the JRC's work and projects in the member states in a clear and accessible way. So once again, engaging with citizens. Here are members of the team. I think I've seen someone here from there. There you are. Financing the best solutions to improve public health. This is DG Sante again. This is a special group set up by DG Sante. It collects best practices for preventing non-communicable diseases and help countries to implement these practices. So examples include providing assistance for cancer screening in Romania and replicated Italian cardiovascular initiatives. Let's see the members of the team. Anyone here from this project? Great to see you. Multilingualism, and this is an interinstitutional cooperation to serve multilingualism, and it's from the Translation Center for the Bodies of the European Union. And the project is to make the interactive Terminology for Europe database of EU-specific terminology more accessible to the public and more user-friendly. The project was achieved through cooperation with all institutions and a dedicated team in the CDT. So who's here from this wonderful team? There you are. Yeah, money, launching the new 50-euro banknote, European Central Bank. So the new 50-euro banknote required, as you can imagine, precision planning to ensure 5.4 billion notes were printed on time to help the industry adapt and communicate the changes to the public. And of course, you may have noticed, the banknote has security features that allow citizens to easily check its authenticity. There we are, the team. Who's here from this team? Please stand up. So, making the Europe for Citizens program more accessible. This is Education, Audiovisual and Cultural Executive Agency. And the program brought together members of the public, civil society organizations and local authorities through small-scale activities such as town twinning projects. So there was a simple application form and lump sum payments, so that made the program even easier to use for potential participants. So none of the difficulties that some of European forms have when you have to try and fill them in. So thank you very much for doing that. So here's the team. Who's here from this, this team? Wow, okay, taking the time to explain financial services to citizens near them. ECB again. Citizens sometimes seek answers from the ECB about financial services, an area that is not in the bank's remit. So going beyond duty, in a sense, if you like. The bank nevertheless prepared tailored answers within a self-imposed short deadline. 3 people from the team. Anyone here of the 3? European Fund for Strategic Investments, the European Investment Bank. Now, we've all heard about this. The European Fund for Strategic Investments, EFSI, is mobilizing 500 billion euros by 2020 to support tangible projects that boost the economy and create up to 1.4 million jobs, with periphery EU member states benefiting the most. This, I think, was one of the big key flagship projects of the Juncker Commission. The projects include a medical simulation center in Poland, cancer treatment in Germany, and inclusive society project in Spain, the European Investment Bank. Here, members of the team? Yes, there you are. So, discover the EU. Giving young people the chance to explore Europe, and this was the European Commission, DG Education, Youth, Sport and Culture, EAC. So I think many of you may have heard of this project. It was to give 18-year-olds a free Interrail ticket to explore Europe. And Discover EU was organized twice in 2018 with around 180,000 applying for 29,500 passes. It was set up in 3 months, and that was really fast because it included creating an application process and then also the hard task of actually communicating it to the public. Here's the team that did this. Who's here from this team? So, project number 42. As I said, in the sequence that they arrived and were received by the Ombudsman. So Facebook chats on the rights of people and businesses in the EU single market. This was DG Internal Market, DG Grow. The Single Market Service Center organized 8 Facebook chats. This was since 2014 to give personalized advice on cross-border issues, something that keeps coming up in the EU, faced by many, many people and businesses. So tens of thousands followed the chats. In 2018, the 2 topics were doing business, and of course, we all travel so much, so it was obviously EU passenger rights. And this is what talked about? And the team? The team here? Thank you. Right, back in the cyber world, fighting cybercrime through awareness. This is Europol. So Europol's cybercrime prevention and awareness program raises awareness about cybercrimes. A recent example is the cyber scams campaign. The program gives tips aimed at preventing cybercrime and enhancing the online security for members of the general public. As you know, this is a big, big issue as we look at social platforms. Here are the 4 wonderful women who presented this. Are they here? There you are. Emily, it's your turn now to present the shortlist.
Thank you very much, Shada, and again, a wonderful set of entries there. So, the shortlist for excellence in citizen-focused services delivery. And the first project on the shortlist for its particular focus on inclusiveness is financing the best solutions to improve public health from DG Sante. The second shortlisted project for its reach and for its support of organisations not often linked to other EU policy objectives or programmes goes to making the Europe for Citizens programme more accessible from the Education, Audiovisual and Culture Executive Agency. And the final shortlisted project for its practical, effective and joyful engagement of young people. The third shortlisted project is Discover EU, giving young people the chance to explore Europe from DG Education and Culture. And the winner for giving young people something useful to do over the summer and showing them the richness of our union. The award goes to Discover EU, giving young people the chance to explore Europe from DG Education and Culture. Well done.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Please. Thank you. Please. She didn't. Okay. Please. So, how do you feel?
Well, I think we are very excited.
Yes.
We were even more excited this morning. It's an amazing project. When we started to work on it from a year and a half ago, I mean, we really started from scratch. There was an empty screen in front of us, and we had to start to draft everything. Young people will travel by rail. And then based on this, we had an amazing journey for a year and a half. We had a huge impact on young people. I mean, I will give to my colleagues also.
Yes. Yes, give us a little idea of how you felt as well, how you feel now and how you felt then when the idea came. Was it like a light bulb going up in your head?
I think in the beginning when they started, a lot of people thought that the idea was crazy, so we had to deal with a lot of obstacles. But we believed a lot in the project. We said, okay, we started in the month of March. We said we should give them the chance that they can explore Europe already during the summer.
This is 2017?
2018. So we said we have to launch the first application round in June 2018. So it took us 3 months to arrange IT application, to arrange all the contracts. It was running against time. I think we were working quite late every evening, weekends to have it in place. And then, of course, we didn't know how many people would apply. And then we saw there was a really huge interest from young people who were all very excited in the initiative. And now I think we launched our third application round. In total, we had like around 280,000 people already applying for the 3 application rounds, and we issued 50,000 travel passes in the last year, in fact. And now we also see in looking into developing other kinds of activities for them that they can do during their journey in terms of learning and so on.
All right. Please.
I think I can speak also for my colleagues. We all feel very privileged not only to have won these awards, but on a daily basis to serve young Europeans, because we believe that youth, they are the future of Europe. And when we have a tough day, we just look at the testimonials and we feel a lot better, because these are the young people who are building Europe. And I think there's good reasons to be very hopeful.
Do you think that played a part in sort of helping people to engage more in the recent elections to the European Parliament? People were more engaged, the younger people especially, knew a little bit more about Europe. Do you think that helped? Teamwork, right? Okay.
Of course, it helped a lot. But what I would like to add also, maybe it's very important, is that that program will really build it to be as inclusive as possible. And very briefly, I will tell you an amazing story that happened to us in last year. A father called us and he said, he called us from Spain and he said, my son Javier won a travel pass. And we said, great. I said, yes, but he's handicapped. And we said, no problem, we will cover everything. And he said, my son is handicapped 97%. And it was for us a bit of a shock, because we thought, what are we going to do? And he said, he would like to go to Amsterdam. Could you please make it? So we went to see our boss and she said, make it happen. And it took us 6 weeks to organize the trip for Javier. He traveled with 3 professional assistants.
Wow.
He had an amazing week. I mean, he became our ambassador. He tagged himself on Instagram as a Discover You ambassador. He's very proud, and I mean, we are trying to make the program as inclusive as possible.
Are there, you talked about Discovery ambassadors, and I was just going to ask you, how are you disseminating all this wonderful work you're doing? So you have Discovery ambassadors? Is that something you've set up as well?
Yes, so we created a Facebook group. And now we have more than 20,000 members in the Facebook group. And what we noticed as well among the young people is that they create spontaneous links between them. So you see that as soon as we launched the results, they start to form groups. They say, who want to travel to France? Shall we meet in Florence and Italy? Or shall we do so? They travel a lot together. We saw, for example, when we issued evaluation survey afterwards, that 37% met each other during the journey. So we see there's a huge community. So as soon as we launch ideas, like, for example, now we will organize meetups for the young travelers around certain teams, that they're all excited. We have created a travel journal so that they can list down all their experiences. We want to test. Again, we just have to issue the post and we get many replies afterwards. So there's a spontaneous link between the young people, so that they're very willing to meet and to interact with each other.
And the link continues, obviously, beyond the voyages, beyond the journeys.
It continues. They really took ownership of the project, and they take their role of ambassadors quite seriously, in a joyful way, and they set up friendships all across Europe.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
So, let's move on to category 3, which was about excellence in open administration. So a lot of focus also on transparency within the European Union as well. So there are 8 projects in this category, and I'm going to walk the talk and talk the walk on them. So one project, number 10, was opening up joint research facilities. This is the European Commission Joint Research Centre. And the JRC, we know, helps to spread scientific knowledge and foster innovation by opening up its research facilities to external experts. So over 200 experts have benefited since mid-2017 in fields such as chemistry, life sciences, and ICT. So here's a picture from one of their sessions of interaction. Who's here from this project? So bringing EU agencies to the cloud. This is the European Food Safety Authority. It's helping 20 EU agencies and institutions move to cloud computing through a framework contract, leading to savings of about almost 7 million euros. The agencies are also using the contract for issues such as big data analytics, genome sequencing, and early applications of artificial intelligence, so making sure that Europe's up to speed in the 21st century. Here's the team, looking joyful with the cloud computing. I like the image. So who's here from this team? Okay, we did talk about transparency, accountability, and fighting corruption. So these are integrity pacts. They're about reducing corruption in public tenders. This is European Commission, DG Regional and Urban Policy. So integrity pacts, they tackle corruption in public procurement by bringing together the contracting authority, the contracted company, and very important, civil society. So these pacts have already been signed in Bulgaria, Czechia, Italy, Hungary, Latvia, Slovenia, and Poland, and they're in cooperation with Transparency International. I would imagine that that's also a strong soft power for the EU when it talks to external partners about tenders and procurement. Here's the team, and I've already seen some members of the team here, but would you please stand up and acknowledge? Yeah. Empowering citizens to participate in the EU decision-making process. So the European Commission, Secretariat General was the project leader, DG Com and DG Digit. So this is a web portal allowing the public to give feedback, very important, on initiatives taken by the Commission at different stages of the legislative life cycle. So yearly visits reached 900,000, so almost 1 million in 2018. And in 2018, the portal was made more user-friendly with the proactive publication of key upcoming initiatives. So very much part of the citizens' consultation drive and transparency, which is so important to the European Union's future. Here's the team. Who is here from this team representing it? So, project number 27 from the European Parliament Directorate General for Personnel is about a clear and transparent European Parliament trainee application procedure. A revamped procedure for recruiting trainees by the European Parliament, and it integrates candidates, supervisors, and sectors. So candidates can now apply to individual traineeships that include the unit, the DG, the place of employment, and a description of tasks. The process is clearer, more transparent, and more accessible. So this is, of course, also very important for young people and the way they engage with Europe, because often the trainees, and I can tell you I know quite a few of them, go on to get some very, very significant and important positions. So here they are, the minds, if you like, behind the scheme. Who's here from this team? So this is about using data analysis for better policy making. It's the European Commission, DG Communication Networks, Content and Technology, DG Connect. Okay, so this is a data analytics tool. It's called Doris. It visualizes responses to EU public consultations in a user-friendly way and helps with rapid analysis and summary of responses. So there's a kind of a screenshot of what they do. And Doris has processed more than 150 consultations from 25 DGs across silos, across DGs, including the 4.7 million replies, oh yes, to the daylight savings consultation. You all remember that. So here's the team behind this initiative, smiling in the sun. Who's here from this team? Datathons, fostering the reuse of open data. This is from the Publications Office of the European Union. So really, as Emily said in the beginning, going into all EU bodies, institutions, entities, agencies. EU Datathons are competitions organized by the Publications Office to promote the use of open data produced by the EU institutions and bodies, which is available on the EU Open Data Portal. So participating teams, there were startups, developers, students, so they reuse the data, yes, to create new applications. And this has helped to increase transparency and encourage, once again, the importance of public participation. Here's the team. Who is here representing? There you are. As I said, there's so much happening within the institutions and the agencies. You know, if I weren't doing this, thank you for bringing me here again, I wouldn't know any of this. And all of this feeds into my work as a policy analyst. So thank you. So this is one-stop shop for business with the EU. So it's European Commission, the Common Support Center, and DG's RTD, Budget, Digit, and JRC, the Joint Research Center, working together. So this is the Funding and Tenders portal launched in 2018. It gathers all EU funding and procurement opportunities in a single place. So if you're a business, this is extremely important to you. Individuals and organizations can apply, manage contracts, and claim the related costs electronically, so also modernized, updated, and digitalized. And here's the team behind this initiative. Who's here from this team? There you are. So, Emily, the shortlist and the category winner from you.
Thank you very much indeed, Shada. So the shortlist for excellence in open administration, the first shortlisted project for helping to increase public trust through tackling corruption and for its active partnerships with civil society is Integrity Packs, Reducing Corruption in Public Tenders from DG Regio. The second shortlisted project for allowing citizens to engage meaningfully in policy development is empowering citizens to participate in the EU decision-making process from several services in the Secretariat General, DG Com and DG Digit. And the final shortlisted project for its great potential benefit for anyone wishing to tender for the EU procurement opportunities is One-Stop Shop for Business in the EU from the Common Support Centre and DG's Research and Innovation, Budget, Digit and Joint Research Centre. Well done. And the winner for its innovative use of partnerships with NGOs, public authorities and private companies is DG Regio with the Integrity Packs Reducing Corruption in Public Tenders.
Say cheese. Okay, so it's my time to interrogate you on how you feel and how do you feel about this could become kind of a gold standard for other countries or perhaps other regions trying to also have transparency in procurement. So who would like to kick off?
Thank you very much, and we are very happy for this award. I think it's not only for us. There is so many partners involved in this project, and it's quite a long-running pilot project. Okay. We embarked on this project in 2015, and it takes time to build trust and get people involved. And this award also goes to all the partners. 16 civil society organizations in 11 countries who are working on the ground together with public authorities,
and businesses in order to create new ways of collaborative working and building trust. So this award goes to all the people on the ground.
Please.
No, this is really a great honor. And this is, well, in Regio we manage almost a third of the EU budget, and half of that is spent through public procurement. So that's why it's so important to actually make sure that that money is spent in a good way, and that we engage civil society, let them see, and let them help us to improve how we actually spend our money. So this is a very interesting project, and we're very happy to receive this award.
Yes, please.
Well, I'm actually one of the last one that joined the team, so my contribution was limited to prepare the application for the award, which was very effective, apparently.
Very.
Well, I think in that sense, the challenge was to transmit through the application this participation and this real partnership that was created through the project. And once again, I saw this with an external eye when I joined the unit. So it was to me very interesting to see how much NGOs, how much citizens that worked as civic monitors owned the project. And this ownership, I think, is the main part of it, also the main result. Because this ownership then translates to other aspects concerning trust with the administration and pushes participation forward, because if citizens trust administration, then they feel more engaged with it and they want to engage further. And this was the big impact of the project to me.
So can I ask, how did you actually then ensure this interaction with the different stakeholders? And how did you build the trust that is needed to collaborate across, member states, departments, DGs?
We started with the awareness raising about this tool, and then at that time our Director General was very supportive of this idea to pilot something innovative, because we really want to make our cohesion policy closer to citizens, so that people feel more ownership of how the money is spent on the ground. And I think the first step was also to establish a network of these partners and partners working together, 16 NGOs, and then NGOs were starting working on the ground in their local, regional environments with their partners. So it's really this kind of down network which takes time. And I think building trust and working together and collaborative effect is never easy.
So how did you identify the 16 NGOs that you've mentioned?
We made a call, open call for expression of interest.
Right.
And we received applications, and we had evaluation committee, and we evaluated, and we looked for capacity to deliver this kind of and professionalization and reputation of NGOs.
Right. And final question, what happens next? Perhaps you'd like to answer. What happens next? I mean, it's a long-running project, so any new ideas?
Well, that's what we are working on now.
Okay.
This is just a pilot, so now we are really starting this thinking on how to bring this forward, how to use all the lessons learned from the pilot and take this forward and scale it up and find a way of using this on a broader scale in the future.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. And so we continue. We're into our category 4, which is about excellence in innovation and transformation. And there are 10 projects in this category. Okay, so this is a mobile app to encourage interaction at conferences such as this. European Data Protection Supervisor, EDPS. And it's a free app created for the International Conference of Data Protection and Privacy. Commissioners, and this was downloaded by almost 1,000 participants. I can tell you, with our experience at Friends of Europe, that's a lot of people at a conference. So the app led to increased interaction by participants and questions and voting, and meant, yes, of course, it meant less paper, as fewer documents needed to be distributed. So this is becoming the norm. So thank you for that innovation. This is the team. Who's here from this team? So this is about inclusive communication in 24 languages. It's the Council of the European Union's General Secretariat. And this is an inclusive guide offering advice on how to avoid stereotypes and discrimination when communicating with the public, including language use and visuals. It's presented in other EU institutions and sent to various national bodies, international organizations, and NGOs, and it's available to the public on the Council's website, so using inclusive language. We know language matters. Here's the team. Anyone here from this team who'd like to stand up? Thank you. It's always nice to see pictures of the team as well, because it gives it a human face, which is what we're talking about. I mean, these are not just faceless bureaucrats, as the narrative would have us believe. So, sustainable, healthy, and environmentally friendly eating is the General Secretariat, again, of the Council of the European Union. Lots of brains working hard there. So this is the Council's canteens, where I think we've all eaten at some point in our lives. And they've been awarded the Good Food label by the Brussels Environment, the region's Environment Authority. And it recognizes the canteen's commitment to sustainable food. So measures introduced include getting rid of plastic cutlery and cups, organizing weekly donations of unsold food to the Red Cross, and using seasonal ingredients. Here's the team behind this initiative, this project. Like to see you stand up and acknowledge your presence here. Thank you very much. So, a smarter way to fight counterfeit goods. This is the European Union Intellectual Property Service, counterfeit fake goods. We knew about fake goods before we knew about fake news. So the EU IPO ran a 48-hour coding marathon. Coders and specialists in law, IP rights, and diverse IT areas, they work together to develop anti-counterfeit solutions. And a blockathon forum aimed to take this cooperation further. And it helped millions of people tricked into buying fake products every year. And it's just not just luxury handbags, it's also medicines and some very vital things we need in our daily lives. And if they're fake, they don't work, right? So here's the team behind this initiative. Who's here from this team? Stand up. Okay. So this is from the Paymaster's Office of the European Commission, helping those in need navigate the EU's health insurance system. So what did they do? The PMO set up the Center of Excellence to help those caring for a disabled child or who are themselves suffering from a serious illness to navigate the EU institutions' health insurance system. And the center worked with relevant NGOs and is working to raise awareness of its activities. Very important also to communicate what we're doing. So here's the team of this initiative, behind this initiative. Anyone here from the team would like to stand up and acknowledge? Empowering staff to shape policies. This is European Commission, DG Taxation and Customs Union. So DG TaxSud organized an open reflection on the future of the EU and tax policies, which was open to all staff from all backgrounds. And this was an inclusive process. It was motivating and rewarding for staff. Oh yes, so the ideas they shared will form part of the briefing for the next EU Commissioner in this area. So here they are from the Directorate General. Here's the team. So would the people involved in this enterprise stand up? A healthier way to get around. This is the European Parliament. It's DG for Innovation and Technological Support. Yes, this is the EP decided to encourage people to use stairs using apps, and they did this by using apps, specific signs, a dedicated website, leaflets, and an award. So the full gamut of information and communication. And the healthy message was spread not only to staff in the EP, but to its thousands of visitors as well. So climbing the stairs is something very important, of course. And here's the team that did that. Anyone here from that team? Stand up and acknowledge. Before I move to this, can I ask how many people do take the stairs every day instead of taking the elevators? Can I see that again? Okay, it's not many, right? Not many. I think we all have to do better about that. Okay, now DG Informatics from the European Commission, making open source software secure, and they came up with an innovative approach. So this project aims to make open source software more secure, and it's an innovative approach to tackling software vulnerabilities, rewarding developers for finding security problems, and hackathons. The project is run as openly as possible, and results are communicated widely for hackathons. Here's the team. Anyone here from the team? Please stand up and acknowledge. Are you the ones with the 8-week-old baby at the back as well? No, okay. All right, because he's or she's being brought into the story very early on. So this is about a comprehensive strategy for reducing plastic pollution. And it's DG Environment, DG Internal Market, and DG Grow. So the first European strategy for plastics targets the public as primary agents for change. It addresses marine litter and includes a directive on single-use plastics. And we saw it in the Council with its canteens, phasing out plastic cups, and this is also happening in the Commission, is phasing out single-use plastic cup in all its buildings. So let's look at the team behind this initiative, and let's acknowledge them here as well. Please stand up. Using crowd intelligence to rescue sexually exploited children. This is from Europol again. So Europol is using crowd intelligence to help rescue sexually abused children and also to identify their offenders. So far, 8 children have been identified and 1 offender has been prosecuted. And the campaign also draws attention to the fact that this is an EU agency working to help protect the public from crime. So a very important message to send as well. Here's the team that drew up and implemented the project. Can I see them here in the room? Emily, your turn for the shortlist and the winner for the category, please.
Thank you very much indeed, Shadan. Again, a wonderful selection of projects there. So, the shortlist for excellence in innovation and transformation. The first shortlisted project, described as a very useful guide with the potential to be widened in scope, is Inclusive Communication in 24 Languages from the Council's Equal Opportunities Office together with the Translation Service. The second shortlisted project for tackling vulnerabilities in open source software. This project makes use of a highly innovative approach and has contributed to increasing trust in the EU through positive media coverage, and that is making open source software secure, an innovative approach from DG Digit. Well done. And the final shortlisted project for its innovative approach to tackling child abuse is using crowd intelligence to rescue sexually exploited children. And this project comes from Europol. And the winner, for its excellent use of modern technology and crowd intelligence to save sexually abused children and to identify their offenders. The winner's Europol.
So, my turn to interrogate you. How do you feel?
I feel very happy. I think it's thank you very much on behalf of the whole team, and I think it's a real honor to be here today. It's a lot of hard work for this campaign. We never thought that 2 years ago when we started the campaign it would be so successful. On the website we have around to this date we have 1.7 million visits, which is quite a lot actually. So we're very happy to get this award and the results of the campaign.
I can just echo what my colleague has said. Indeed, there has been, I think, when we started this campaign, we did not expect such an amazing reaction from the public. So the support we got from the public, the support we got from all our stakeholders, it really makes a difference, and it really has helped us rescue victims and find offenders.
So can you just explain the process of crowdfunding this? I mean, crowdsourcing, crowd intelligence. What's the process behind it? How do you work this out?
Well, I think it's one of the few times when you can see a law enforcement agency using this kind of approach.
It's a rare thing, right?
Yeah, actually, well, I think it's been used for other things, of course, but for law enforcement it's more rare, we'll say. And the approach is just simply posting pictures of child sexual abuse content. We take a screenshot and we put it on the website. Of course, we don't show the children. And we ask people to ask for the collaboration to identify the objects that are on the pictures. It could be something on the background, or it could be something in the place. And that is helping quite a lot, actually, police investigators to solve crimes and get the offenders and the criminals.
So what happens? People see these objects and then they contact Europol?
Yeah, exactly. On the website, when you see the picture, you have a button and you can submit your whatever you know about the pictures. I think to the date we have like around 24,000 tips from citizens, which makes an average actually of 145 tips per object, which is quite good actually. And yeah, it's been very helpful and it's working very well.
Yeah, no, nothing to add particular from my side. Just the only thing is, and what we always encourage people to do through social media as well, and also when just talking face to face, is spread the word on this. Any sort of clue makes a difference. You could see a part of a t-shirt or a part of a room or a hotel room, and actually one of the more famous cases we've had is of a hotel room that was actually identified through the support of the public. So there was just a jacuzzi and a hotel room, and the public came back to us and they gave us tips, and this was actually the victim was actually identified because of the public. So saved, yeah. So any clue, any kind of tip can make a difference.
Right, and then, sorry, yeah, thank you. And then the intelligence services, the other services move in once you've identified, once you've given the information.
Yeah, exactly. Normally we receive the clue, and then we have something to go back to the relevant country. So the member state or any of the country that is potentially involved in this already has a clue which path to follow and hopefully get to the victim.
And how are you spreading the message across member states that this facility, this thing, this innovation exists? How are you doing that? People know? Intelligence services know?
Well, it's of course we do a lot of communications through social media, but also this is a campaign based. It's based on crowdsourcing, and it's also an approach we are using for other campaigns. notably for the campaign for the EU Most Wanted campaign. EU Most Wanted is the website where we put the EU Most Wanted criminals in Europe.
Okay, right. Okay.
So yeah, through different initiatives, we are trying to spread this kind of approach of crowdsourcing, not only for this campaign, but for other campaigns and for other users.
So you're going to expand this further?
Yeah, we do a lot of campaigns. Of course, we can use it for other things, I guess, but we need to explore more.
Okay, so more projects next time we have these awards then, I hope. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. So it's all about the word, right? It's all about communication, spreading the message, getting people to know what we're up to here in Brussels and other member states as well. So excellence in communications, that's the category number 5. And there are 12 projects in this category, so bear with me while I walk you through them. So the project number 1, actually, digital ethics, and this is an introduction by comic book, and it's from the European Data Protection Supervisor. So the EDPS has produced a comic book, already, by the way, in its 3rd reprint, and this is on data protection, privacy, and ethical challenges. We know there are many in this digital age. So the aim is to get people to think about the growing dependency between humans and technology, and boy, it's going to get very complicated. There's one of the team members of this project, and could I have a recognition of who's in the room from this project? So another one about experiencing Europe through young people's eyes. This is DG Regio. And 8 young people traveled around Europe, so they did about 12,000 kilometers and over 20 countries. And they kept a diary of their adventures. They chronicled their adventures. And they visited over 50 EU-funded projects. And this was open for Europeans between 18 to 24. And they have a Facebook or an Instagram account. And here are the brains behind this project. Yes. And who's here from this team? Artifacts exhibition connecting citizens, science, and EU policies, also from the JRC. So the Artifacts exhibition is at Berlin's Natural History Museum, and it showed how science underpins EU food, energy, climate, air, and water policy. Very important to get the word around that it's about science. So the interactive exhibition is organized by the JRC, and it's part of its strategy to reinforce the links between society, science, and EU policy. So here are members of the team, and let's see them here in the room as well. So, very important, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Customs Union. And this is DG Taxation and Customs Union. So, what was it? It was a multifaceted campaign to explain the Customs Union to the public. I have to say, I need to be explained this every time I write about it, so thank you for doing that. And it includes a popular video on the life of a customs sniffer dog. So very innovative there as well. So the results, over 9 million video views and more than 2.5 million engagements online. So there's the sniffer dog and various shapes and guises. So who's here from this team? So no sniffer dogs there, okay. So, raising awareness about sexual violence in conflict zones, DG ECHO. DG ECHO also produced a highly successful video on combating sexual violence in conflict zones and about 2 million views on YouTube. I actually saw that, several versions of it. It was really, really good. So it was in a respectful way, dealing with a subject that is not a very, it's a very sensitive topic. So testing the message before the video was formally launched. Here are the brains behind this scheme. Anyone here from DG ECHO? Me Too at the European Parliament. So this is zero tolerance for sexual harassment in the workplace. And this was a cross-party coalition of employees of the European Parliament. Me Too EP, we all remember, and we know about the hashtag Me Too. And this is a cross-party coalition of workers at the European Parliament, and it draws attention to the right of all staff to have a safe workplace. And through lobbying, organizing a protest and setting up a blog recounting incidents of harassment in the European Parliament, Me Too EP increased political support for a resolution that came out on combating sexual harassment. So very important meeting, very important initiative. And here we have the President of the European Parliament with this campaign poster, Me Too EP. Who's here from the European Parliament Coalition on? Giving the EU a friendly face. So this is DG Com. Through storytelling and simple language, the EU and Me campaign has given the EU a friendly and accessible face. And it's in 24 languages, and the campaign had partnerships with local newspapers, but also very important in today's world with social influencers, YouTubers, and bloggers. And here's the lady behind this idea. And I see her in this room, so please stand up as well. The two. So once again, explaining what we do, very important to engage, present a human face, narratives that are positive. Explaining what we do, EU agencies photo exhibition. So this was from the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control and Frontex on behalf of the EU agencies network. So this was a traveling photo exhibition, an online slideshow, and it illustrated the breadth of EU agencies and all the work they do. The exhibition premiered in Poland, then went to Italy, and it will go around the EU. Let's see the team. There we are. Anyone here from this initiative? There you are. Tailored toolkits for raising awareness about LGBTI rights. This is DG Just. So what did they do? DG Just prepared 37 hashtag EU for all, sorry, I have to say this again, but you read it, I won't say it. Toolkits for EU representations aimed at raising awareness about LGBTI rights. And the toolkits included country-specific information, so very important to target, tailor-make the information available. It had a rainbow flag, policy information, and a social media toolkit. The feedback, as you can imagine, from representations of the EU was very positive. Team behind this, holding up the flag. Anyone here? Once again, single-use plastics, DG Environment, and it's a campaign about raising awareness about this. DG Environment developed a creative communication campaign aimed at young European adults to get them to think about their use of single-use plastics. So hashtag plastic strategy reached 150 million users in October 2018, while there were over 10 million views of the animated videos. Here are the people behind the team, and they're holding a plastic cup. Or a paper. Thank you very much. Who's here from the team? So the European Parliamentary Research Service, what has Europe ever done for us? So a website explaining what the EU does for groups from all walks of life, from babies and school kids to disabled road users and journalists, from the working poor to victims of cyberbullying. This is available in all 24 EU languages. It's easy to navigate, and it's written in clear language. What does Europe do for us? What has Europe ever done for us? So, wow, that's quite a network. Very, very, very impressive. Who's here? Not all of you, I hope, but a few. Europol, communicating to make Europe safer. So Europol has used campaigns to raise public awareness about fighting cross-border crime, working with other EU agencies, national authorities, and international organizations. So awareness-raising campaigns like Say No are available in all EU languages, and we talked about it just earlier. The most wanted campaigns led to 17 dangerous criminals being apprehended. So let's have a look. Yes, there we are. Anyone here from this part of Europol? Those are the two who were here just a few minutes ago, by the way. So, okay, Emily, your turn for the shortlist and the category winner.
Thank you, Shadow. Another wonderful collection of entries, and this time we have a slightly longer shortlist with 4 on it. So the first shortlisted project for its excellent and original means of communication is Digital Ethics, an introduction by comic book from the EDPS. The second shortlisted project for its commitment to solving a humanitarian problem is Raising Awareness About Sexual Violence in Combat Zones from DG ECHO. The third shortlisted project for its demonstration of EU values to a sometimes sceptical public is Toolkits for Raising Awareness About LGBTI Rights from DG Just. And the fourth shortlisted project from a very strong list for its provision of useful and accessible information for particular use during the European Parliament elections is What Has Europe Ever Done for Us? From the European Parliamentary Research Service. So, because of the volume of entries and the excellence of the shortlist, we have decided to make 2 awards in this category. And the first award, for raising awareness about LGBTI rights, at times to a sceptical audience, the first joint winner is DG Just.
And maybe move, the photographer saying, yeah. So could I ask one of you to actually open the toolkit and unfurl the flag so we can actually see it? Oh, that is impressive. So, how do you feel, and can you please pronounce the hashtag that I couldn't pronounce? So,
yeah, well, thank you very much for the award. It's amazing.
The Ombudsman.
We didn't expect it, of course. And the hashtag is EU for LGBTI, so it should be okay.
It's okay. How do you feel?
Yeah, no, thank you so much. It's amazing to get the recognition for the hard work. There was, of course, every year there's the International Day Against Homophobia. That was the clear deadline, so I think all of us know how it feels to work towards a deadline, and when it comes closer, the working hours get longer. And then if afterwards you also get a bit of recognition like this, it's really worth it.
Yeah, I think it's very important for the whole team that we got this prize or this award, because it is, as you all can imagine, a very nice, very nice area to work with, but also quite a sensitive one. So we are all very committed. We are not very many. We miss, I think, only 2 colleagues here. So we are 4 in the anti-discrimination team in DG Justice. But then we also worked very well and very hard together with the communication team in DG Justice and with the financial unit. This all was possible thanks to one of the financial programs that we are using. So this has been an incredible cooperation in a few just months we managed to do. And big credit goes actually to the Commission representations in the member states, because they are using the toolkit. The toolkit is for them. And
how do they use it?
Yeah, there are a few ways. So basically the main idea was to make their life simpler, because there are also, it's usually 1 or 2 press officers there, to get to know how to organize very easily an event, to support the LGBTI rights. Some member states are very supportive, some are not so supportive. So we did very small events, but very big events too, together with them. The toolkit includes also social media ideas, how to push how to pass the message. Very nice flags, very good quality ones to hang either outside or inside, depending on the situation, and also very good report on the member state to know who are the stakeholders, who are the human rights defenders, and who are the main NGOs to work with. So basically it's all on one plate, and then it's helping. And we really had very interesting events, and the last one was actually 1 week ago in Vienna, where we had Commissioner Jourova at Europe Pride in Vienna, and we were using the toolkit.
Okay.
It was quite well covered, and it's very important that Commission faces are standing up and they do not hesitate, and they attend big and small events. Yeah.
And you talked about EU representations in the EU. Do you send it to representations or delegations outside the EU as well?
Well, we got inspired by the delegations outside, because they did already many years ago smaller activities, but now we are discussing how to spread it further, using a lot of different financial tools, because it's still a challenge, of course, how to push this through. But there is a big interest. Geneva and New York, we already have demand.
Okay, thank you very much. And would you like to say something? No? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, and well done. So the second joint winner in the communications category for creating a multilingual website containing easily digestible information on EU actions and projects that have a positive impact on citizens' daily life. The winner is the European Parliamentary Research Service for What Has Europe Ever Done for Us? Well done.
Just a few words, so give us an idea of how you feel, how you came up with this idea.
Well, we're absolutely delighted to win, so thank you very much. We see that there's incredibly strong competition, so that's also very reassuring. It was a very big project for us as the research service. We were used to producing material maybe for more expert readers. What we tried to do now was turn around the knowledge that we had and present it in a very user-friendly way, which would appeal to people who mightn't be interested in politics, but to whom the EU has an impact on their lives.
So first of all, thank you very much, very proud. I think it's a collective project. Sarah has been very successfully leading the 140 colleagues that over 16 months have written the contents. Wow. And it's quite impressive because it's 1,800 contents that have been translated in 24 languages. And because we are with the mediator here, with the Ombudsman, I'd like to say that we didn't engage extra resources for doing so. So these are colleagues that, on the top of their job, have written these contents over the time, and I think this is also something that needs to be mentioned. I'd like to say also that doing so, we have tried to set back a bit from the researcher position, and also as citizens, as parents, as having a particular hobby like hiking, as coming from a certain territory. We have written these contents.
So quite personalized.
Exactly. When it came, it was like a big mountain to climb in terms of a project, but we achieved that because I think as a public administration, we are also citizens, and we are also standing for the European project, and that's what was driving it really over the time.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And now, before we announce the overall winners, we come to a special award. And this award is given for work which goes above and beyond the day job, the normal duties of EU staff, but which nonetheless makes an important contribution and demonstrates above all the values of the EU. 2 years ago, it was awarded to the Council Medical Services for their assistance to the injured during the Brussels attacks on the 22nd of March 2016. This year, for their brave and engaged commitment to making our working environments free from harassment, the special award goes to the members of the initiative Me Too EP Zero Tolerance for Sexual Harassment in the Workplace. Well done.
Picture. So, how do you brave ladies feel?
Oh. A lot of emotion, for sure. And today in front of you, we are only 3 people from the movement, but just to tell you, we are a movement of workers from different political groups, different work contracts, but also different nationalities inside the European Parliament. And so I think on behalf of the movement, we would like just to thank them all. They are like maybe watching us inside the European Parliament, but this is a collective job. And of course, the most important for us was just, we did not do that for ourselves. And we will continue the fight with the new European Parliament, but we did that. And I think this award goes to all the brave women and men who share with us their testimonies on psychological harassment and sexual harassment. And this is a great recognition because they are not alone, and we will continue all together. And I think on behalf of the movement, we would like also to thank you, Mrs. O'Reilly, because like we and the European Ombudswoman team, because you help us a lot in creating virtual circles inside the different institutions. And it's not achieved yet, of course. We will continue. We know in the national political parties and national assemblies, there is also things to be done. So thank you so much.
Yes, please, very quickly.
Well, thanks a lot from my side as well. I'm really honored, and all of us are, of course, very honored to receive this great award. And yeah, I hope that in the future we can continue, all of us together, the fight against sexual harassment in the EU institutions and beyond.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, from the bottom of our heart. It was quite an adventure since 2 years, but we are incredibly proud of what we have achieved for the victims of this kind of behavior. And we continue to work on it, to continue with also the people in the European Parliament and the Parliament's administration to fight this problem. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Emily, now I think it's the moment we've all been waiting for.
Thank you very much indeed, Shada. And now, colleagues, we come to the overall winner from a very strong list, but around which there was, do you like that? I like that. Well done, Kevin. Around which there was complete agreement between everyone involved in judging these awards. This time we're giving the overall prize to not one but two entries because of the critical importance of their projects and the obvious synergies between them. One entry was described as an excellent initiative on a key subject with very ambitious targets, with a strategy which balances incentive, partnership, investment and regulation, and one that will impact positively on every EU citizen. And the second entry is described as a strong project, clever and innovative, and particularly aimed at younger people. And so the joint winners of the 2019 European Ombudsman Award for Good Administration are DG Envy and DG Grow for a comprehensive strategy for reducing plastic pollution, and DG Envy for the awareness-raising campaign about single-use plastic. So well done.
Thank you. So, Kevin, could we have the video clip as well before I put these lovely people a few questions?
Always there when you need it. It waits for you at the end of shop counters, ready to help out and leave with you, hand in hand. But the morality of this fake friend is disturbingly flimsy. It will leave you in the first gust of wind, preferring to hang out with its friends on the beach, pollute the ocean, and threaten marine life. Help protect our beaches and oceans. Don't fall for the single-use plastic bag. Start a long-term relationship with a smarter alternative. Why not reusable carry bags, totes or baskets? A solid alternative.
There you go. Commissioner, could I ask you to come on stage as well, please? Thank you. Thank you very much. So we don't have the time for each one of you to say something, but who has been selected as the spokesperson for?
Head of communication.
Okay, there you go. There you go. So how do you feel?
Well, to be honest, we just sent a message. Okay, this is not for DG Environment this year.
Oh, what?
So we need to rectify that immediately.
Yes, could you please tweet now?
So we are really, really proud. But nothing would happen without our colleagues from the policy part, because we can only communicate when we have a subject to communicate on. So, but all my thanks to Kasia, because Kasia did also fantastic job. So.
Yes, no, we would like to thank colleagues from the policy units and also colleagues from our communication team who are not here today. It has been a collective effort, collective work. Yeah, I mean, we are extremely happy, thrilled, satisfied, I think, and thank you so much for this recognition.
So what's the lesson you've learned? What's the one lesson you've learned?
Well, I think it's cooperation. It's a very environmental course, I would say, and why DG Grow came into the picture is that it's not only about, reducing the littering, but it is also very good for businesses to be involved. It's a good business opportunity, and if Europe wants to lead, I think that is something that European businesses have to be brought in there and use more recycled plastics and use plastics as a valuable raw material. And I think it's this sort of joint revelation for me that, it's both environmental, both business purposes, and that can come together. And it is really about not the silo thinking, but working together to address a global problem.
Okay, now the test for you. Who still uses plastic bags? Do you think they're being honest? Please, could you give her the microphone? Yeah.
Plastic is not bad. It's the way we use, produce, and dispose of plastic products that causes problems, environmental, health-related problems. So we try to communicate this message. We don't have to be ashamed of using, as long as we use it sustainably and we reuse plastic products. So that was.
Thank you very much for that message. Thank you very. Yes, please.
I just wanted to add on this line, of course, that indeed the real point here is to make sure that we transition the plastics industry, plastic sector into a circular economy. Mm-hmm. So where exactly all the resources within the economy remain and can be reused in plastics and in other sectors.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Thank you. So, Emily, thank you very much indeed. Emily, it's been quite an eventful moment. A lot of emotion, a lot of, I have to say, heartwarming stories and heartwarming initiatives, connecting, transparency. Things that, people like me I work for a think tank. I know a lot about the European Union, but what's happening inside, the nuts and bolts of what we're doing within Europe, but also outside Europe, our soft power that all of us, all of you bring, that really is not known. And thanks to you and this award ceremony, I think we bring it to the spotlight. So your feelings, and then I'd like you to wrap up what's been a very, 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 very exciting day. Okay. Morning.
Thank you very much, Shad, and thanks again to all of you for being here and for all of the entries that you sent in. And yes, I agree. It's actually fascinating just listening to some of the winners there talking about the backdrop and the background to how they went about it, and I could see there was a lot of attention particularly being paid, because even when the entries are going in, you're not always hearing the human story. And I think no matter how much we know about the EU and our various capacities, I think we always learn something at this, and I think it is uplifting. I noticed there was a particular round of applause, a warm round of applause for the Interrail tickets. Yeah, I can see we're all getting rid of the kids. Wonderful, thank you, EU. I'm with you. Just in case anybody in the issues of transparency, my youngest child is interrailing. She did not apply or get a free ticket, okay, just in case anybody wonders about that. And the bees as well. I had a slight wobble about the bees myself. We love bees in our office. We were delighted to be able to present the award, but some time ago I was at home in my back garden and I had planted sage, the herb sage, which produces beautiful blue flowers. So I went down one evening, my book, a small glass of wine, and the sage was in full bloom, and so were the bees all over the bloody place. And I was trying to maintain my warm feelings about the bees. and failing, but the sage is still there, and so are the bees. But anyway, as for the winner, obviously, yes, it is an issue that we're all becoming very conscious of. I think what's happened in relation to so many of these issues around the environment and climate change and climate disaster has been the awareness growing in from the margins and into the centre, the mainstreaming of these issues. And I think all of us now, when we do go into our coffee shops or go to our supermarkets, I think we are increasingly conscious, not just of our own usage and failure to remember yet again to put the bags in the back of the car, but also we're observing how business is dealing with it. So you're noticing, you know, which coffee shops are still using plastic straws, for example, which are encouraging you to use paper cups or bring your own. But I think it wasn't just because of the currency of the issue, it was the methodology and the commitment and everything that points to good administration. So again, it was, so as was said at the beginning, so many of the projects were worthy of awards. I hope that you appreciate our appreciation of all of you simply by having these awards and by acknowledging each and every one of your projects, and congratulations to everyone. We will attempt, insofar as we can, being a small office, to publicise this and your work as much as possible. But you're all individual influencers, and I hope that you spread the good word. I think it's really, really important that the ordinary, if there is such a thing, the ordinary EU citizen that we all talk about, it develops a much deeper awareness of the richness and the value of the EU, and particularly the value of collaboration. And we are a community, and the work that we do benefits everybody. So now I'd like to thank everybody who was involved in all of this. I'd like to thank the Commissioner for gracing us with his presence and for saying those lovely words, both about the projects and about our own office. We deeply appreciate your presence here. My Belgian Ombudsman colleagues for their support, which is wonderful. Obviously the advisory board, Chris and Peter, who are here for they really did the hard work, the heavy lifting, looking in great detail at all of them and advising with their expertise and their wisdom and their eye for the European citizen on what decisions we might make. Shada, of course, who yet again has done a wonderful job. She does fantastic work to spread the good news about Europe and to encourage us all to be better European citizens in her day job and her day jobs, which are multiple. It's hard to get her nowadays because she is so much in demand, not just here but globally as well. And of course, I would like to thank my Secretary General, Shazira, for all her wonderful support, and the colleagues and my cabinet. But of course, it has to be Gundi and her wonderful team for the incredible work they have done in putting this all together right from the very start. They're a small team in a small office. They've lots of other things to do. And the dedication and commitment and generally good humour. She was losing it a little bit yesterday, let me tell you, but generally good humour that this was done. So thank you all. I think, do we have something to give them to eat and drink? Yes, we do. We do, yes. You're all very welcome to join us for some, it's lunchtime, for some lunch. And thank you all again, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much. Thank you.